Okay, so my name is Pearl Bertrand. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I am the aunt of Hillary Berteau. And she asked me if I would lead a shamanic journey. So for some of you who have already done this before, this is just a shamanic journey that you'll be able to take. And for those of you who have not done it before, this is an opportunity to learn how. And once you learn how here, you can do it again over and over, uh, every day, every week, whatever, whenever it serves you. And so, one of the things that the last session that Hillary was doing in the psychic development, um, um, we were talking about understanding your birth process, or um, the conception, what about it? And some of us can't ask our parents anymore because they're not here. And some of us just can't ask them anyway. So I suggested the possibility of having a shamanic journey with your conception guide, or your birth guide, or your or a guide that you choose. And so that's what we do in shamanic journeying. We tap into a guide or guides, so we could go to more than one, and have the opportunity to ask questions and so forth.
Pearl, will you pause for a moment?
Okay, and so when we go into a journey, we're eliciting the help of a guide. So there's an overall guide in the journey called Journey. Journey's the journey guide. And so she's the main guide. And then we ask her to introduce us to our conception guide, our birth guide, our whichever guide we want. And if we were outside of this setting, we might want to know our financial guide, or our relationship guide, or our money guide, so it's an endless a number of possibilities as to what guide we can connect with. And we're asking Journey to introduce us to that guide. So yay, we could meet up with anyone. So so today, what I do is I'm utilizing on my iPad drumming music. So this is shamanic drumming music from Michael Harner, Harner, Michael Harner. And Michael Harner has varying segments of drumming music. So he has a 15-minute drumming segment, a 30-minute, an hour, 90-minute. So you can find Michael Harner on YouTube and then play whatever time you have available for it. So if you only had a 10-minute, you could probably set your alarm to go off in 10 minutes when you play the 15-minute one. So it's up to you how long you want to do and whatever time you have. It's just guaranteed you're going to meet one of your guides. It's just how much time do you have? Okay, so that's the music that's going to be playing, is the drumming music from Michael Harner. And we're going to go with that. So I'm just giving you some more background. In shamanic journeying, we go to upper world, middle world, or lower world. And typically beginners just go to lower world. And there's nothing negative about lower world versus upper world versus middle world. It's like a house. There's the upstairs, the main floor, and the basement. So it's not a big deal. And I'm going to suggest doing the lower world until you've really done this for a year or more. So, and sometimes you're just going to be taken to upper world when you've been typically going to lower world. So it kind of takes you where it's time for you to go. So climbing up is going to upper world. crawling down or tunneling down or walking down is lower world, and coming out on flat ground is middle world. It's where you're at. Okay. So when the drumming starts, the way that you get to lower world is that you find a place where you go down. When I first did this, it was like I was a rabbit and I was in grass and I was looking for an opening, and I found the opening and I went through the opening. Then I started tunneling down. And once I was tunneling down, I came to a place where there was another opening that I had to go through, and then I came to lower world. So I had gone down. Another time I had done this, I jumped into a pool and swam to the bottom and broke through an opening at the bottom of the pool, like in nature, not a swimming pool. And then, and now when I'm doing the lower world, I am going through like construction, where you have those flaps of plastic hanging down, and I go through the plastic and I'm just walking sort of in a spiral downward. And then when I get to another set of plastic hanging down, I go through that. Then I'm in lower world. So I like the easy walk through to lower world, but whatever it takes for you to get to lower world, it happens in your mind. And if you're telling yourself something like, I'm just making this up, this can't be real. Yes, it's real, and you're making it up, and keep going. Because your imagination is part of your journey. So, not to worry about any of it. And sometimes when you meet the guides that you want, you have a little notepad or something near where you are so you can remember what's going on. Right after, then you'll write it down. Okay, so once you get to the lower world, now that you've broken through the barrier to go tunneling or walking or diving, then you get to the second barrier and you're in lower world. Then you say, Journey, I'm here now. I would like to meet my conception guide. So you're asking Journey to help you meet your conception guide. Okay, who might your conception guide be? Well, whoever Journey brings to you or takes you to, and it could be an animal, it could be a rock, it could be a tree, it could be a person, it could be a being of some type. And if you're unsure, then you say, are you my conception guide? And they should have a dialogue with you. There has been one time only where I went on a journey and there was no dialogue anywhere from anyone. So even that's a journey, and you get to make of it what you will. If that should happen to you. Okay, so if you have questions for your conception guide, then ask the questions. If you then want to move to your birth guide, someone who was available that could help you through when you were being born, then talk to that one. If you want a different guide, you're choosing.
A womb guide.
Yes, or a womb guide. So whatever you're calling it, you're meeting the guide. Journey is introducing you or helping you get to the guide, and then you ask the questions. So then you're asking questions. So you got to know what you want to know, and that's how you're getting the information. Okay, let's see what else. I think that's it. That's everything you need to know. So you get to lower world and you're meeting Journey, and then you're asking Journey. So when I start playing the music, you will immediately be in search of the opening that you can start going downward. And then you're getting to the opening that will break into your lower world. So when we're done with the journey, you need to thank the journey guide thank the other guides that Journey introduced you to, and then come back through lower world the same way you got there. So that's how you come back after thanking the guides. Okay, I believe that's it. So now, oh, do you have
Pearl,
something?
will there be a shift in the drumming to indicate that it's time for us to come back?
I think this drumming is just straight drumming. So I'm not using, because I don't have a 15-minute one set up.
Okay.
I could watch the time.
Do you have a rattle or something that would indicate that it's time for us to start coming back?
I have a bell.
Oh, that's good.
So I'll just ring the bell and that'll be time to start coming back. And after I ring the bell, then I'll say, in a few moments, it'll be time to come back. So right now, begin to thank your guides, that kind of thing. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to begin. So I'd like for you to get comfortable. Take in a few deep breaths so you can shift from the energy you've been in to listen to the energy of going on your journey. And I'm just going to be guiding you through, like letting you know it's time to do this or it's time to do that. If you're not there, it's okay. If you're there, just follow along wherever you're at in your journey. Okay, I'm starting the music.
The music gets muffled when you don't talk.
Does?
All right, I'm not hearing the music. Maybe we could switch to the other speaker during that part.
Going to lower world, getting to your first opening, crawling toward your second opening that will land you into lower world. And it's up to you to break into lower world. This shouldn't take too much longer. When you get there, you're probably looking around, get to ask for Journey to assist you. You're asking Journey to introduce you to a guide. Some guide that you want to meet surrounding your birth experience. And you ask the guide the questions you have. What do you want to know? And you're listening to what the guide tells you. If you want a different guide to talk to, ask Journey to introduce you to a different guide.
Now you get to say goodbye to your guides. Thank your guides. Thank Journey. And come back the way you came, the way you went. Okay, my
Back now. Okay, how did everyone meet a guide, at least one? Okay. Comments? What?
Wow, Pearl. That
good?
was good.
Was it good?
Yep. Yep. I'm a little bit speechless.
Are you? Because you looked more restless and coughing and fidgety.
I was clearing a lot.
Oh,
It
okay.
was major.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I'll share my experience.
You want me to keep recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have my portal is the door in a tree like on The Princess Bride. So I always go to that for the underworld, and it's a spiral staircase that goes down and down and down, and then I have an opening, a doorway I can go through. And when I arrived at lower world, it was very dark and cold. I felt like I was in a cave, and it kind of disturbing. I mean, it just kind of was like, what is this? And then I was just feeling this feeling of guilt, like guilt. And so then I was like, oh yeah, Journey. I'm like, Journey. And she comes to me. It's the raven that sits on my left shoulder. I was like, oh, thank you. And so then I was just feeling just overwhelmed by all this environment. It just did not feel comfortable. And so then we start going through on a boat and through foggy, misty, swampy, wherever we were on this boat. And then I was trying to do the work. Like I'm thinking I have to do that. And I was like, no, I need to relax and let Journey's guiding the boat. She makes the boat move. So then we just kept going and going and going. And then I could see little like yellow sunshine in a corner, like way, way far away. And I was like, whoa. And then it was almost like these white shimmery curtains, a veil. I was like, oh, okay. So we went to upper world from lower world. And it was a sunshine and it was joy. And I just started crying and crying. That's why my throat started hurting. All the muscles in my neck were tight. I was so happy. I'm like, oh my gosh, Joy, it's you, Joy, Joy, Joy. I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, I love you, I love you. I just spent the whole time saying thank you and chilling on these golden white clouds. And I'm just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then, yeah, I just was coughing and clearing. My throat was tight. And I said, I know a detail about um, my mom got a rubella shot before she got married, and then she got pregnant, and the doctors told her she had to have an abortion because the rubella shot would cause problems. So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask about the rubella. And as soon as I asked about the rubella shot, I saw a mirror that shattered in a bunch of pieces. It was very dark, and that's when you started coughing, Pearl. And I'm like, holy shit, are we doing DNA healing now? Because, and
Yeah.
I feel like guilt. I feel like there was a lot of guilt from both my parents because they're like, holy shit, what did we do to our child? Anyway, it was just intense. And then I'm like, oh, Joy, I don't want to leave you. And it's like, the sun is soul, soul, soul. So soul, she's like, it's you, you're the soul, you're the sun. So just keep shining, just keep doing your thing. It was just so much fun. Thank you, share. And I would love to hear other shares.
Wait, so you did or didn't get to ask questions of
I was so grateful and so happy. And then so I was looking at Joy, and then I'm looking at it, and then I was like, well, oh, but Angelica Joy, she was more special so basically my understanding is the Joy guide is the conception guide. Do you see what and it's bigger, it's greater, like a source. It's like a source. So the Joy is the source. Because then I have my Angelica Joy. She was more of like, it felt like she was kind of the little, like, to help me understand, like I could only hold that much.
oh,
Like I don't know, she's like a little messenger, like,
yeah.
anyway. So it was just interesting, the connection between the two, and they just have this yummy, warm, yellow, bright. And so I did ask the one, I was just basking in the yumminess and how good it felt.
It was strictly a journey as opposed to.
Well, that's when I asked the one question. I said, can you tell me about the rubella? And that's when, yeah, and it felt like I was I wanted to scream. That's what the tightness in my throat or the shattering. So I was doing the work to bring back parts of me as I'm being conceived, and bring back parts of my parents if it's helpful to them, if they need integration of fractured parts, because there was a fracturing. I saw that. Really, it was, anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. That was awesome. Thank you.
Wow, good. Okay, does anyone else want to share anything?
I can share.
Good.
So this kind of, I was thinking, why, first of all, I was like, why are we doing this exercise today? I was not really clear, but just going along with whatever it's, happening. And, this has been a journey of years of stuff going on anyway. So it's just one opening after another that it keeps on happening with this, which is beautiful. So I when we started this, just the image of the dolphin came in. So that's what I became, a dolphin, to go down into the underworld. And I have two cards here that have come up in the last couple months. One is of a dolphin and the other one is of a seahorse. So as I was going down into the path of the underworld, my journey guide was a starfish. It was a bright orange starfish. And they took me to the first guide, which was my birth guide, which was like a blue coral. And I asked the birth guide what is important that I need to know about my birth. And he described my mom's, being alone in the room by herself and very scared. And her doctor that birthed us, we actually knew him. Like he was always a doctor. He wasn't like a family friend, but he birthed all of us. Well, I think four of the 6 kids. And he kind of helped her, but she had a lot of fear when I was being birthed. And they described to me that was why my shadow is fear, that I hold fear. And I've been processing fear like since June. It's been a really long journey. I've had no major issues, but a lot of discomfort in my lower back, and not able to do a lot of my yoga practice that I do, etc. And really working on my kidneys area that I guess guides your lower back. So there's been a lot of processing around fear for me since like June, and like overcoming this shadow. So then I asked to see my shadow guide, and that was it was like a dark rock underneath, and he confirmed that that was fear, and that if I continue to practice yoga, the path that I'm going down, and shamanic, that this shadow will be, kind of released. And then I asked to see my yoga. Right now I'm studying yoga Bindu, which is about karma, and it's a year class. And so I asked to see my yoga Bindu guide, and that was a hammerhead shark. And he also, said, yeah, continue to go down this path, that the karma of fear will be released from you as you walk this path. I'm also, I asked to see the guide that I'm taking the Bhagavad Gita class also. And I've been told to practice that from the very beginning, is to live that practice. So I'm actually taking a deeper dive in other just reading the book myself, and I'm in a class. And that guide was Vishnu, who happens to be the representation of Brahman in the Bhagavad Gita. And he's also my Reiki guide. So anyways, he also said to continue down this path. So it was just kind of a reinforcement of that I am following my path. I am doing the work that I need to do, and that more will be uncovered as I continue going down this path. So it was pretty amazing.
Wow.
That's so beautiful, Lisa.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. That's incredible.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you all for helping me.
Cool. And does anyone else want to share their experience?
Amelie and Diana, I would love to hear from you.
All right, I'll do a share. To get to the underworld, it was near a tree. Right at the base of the tree, I like dug a hole and then like fell down into like a stone chamber of sorts, and then like opened a door, went down a couple stairs, opened another door. And then it was like very dark, but I had the sense that I was in like a swampy woods sort of area. And then I asked Journey to come like guide me. And I asked her to lead me to my conception guide, which was like a little ferrety thing. And it like crawled all over me and was like happy to see me. But I like was having a hard time like chatting with him. And then that's around the time that Pearl was like, if you want to meet other guides, like feel free. So I said thank you, and I was like, okay, can you bring me to my womb guide? She brought me over to like a rock, and I sat there next to it, and an iguana popped up and like sat in my lap, like near my womb. Also, like clearly very happy to see me, but like I was still having issues like talking with them. And that's something like I've been trying to figure out is like how to have a conversation with my guides. And so I was like, all right, thank you for talking with me. And then I talked to Journey. I was like, do I have like a guide? And she was like, yeah, we're all here for you. So it's the first like thing I heard back was from her. And then that was about it. Like I couldn't hear anything else. And then she like guided me to a pond. And she was like, essentially like, go look in the pond. And there's this little fish. And I was like, hi, who are you? And it's like, oh, I'm your psychic guide. And he basically said like, I was like, oh, you're a fish. He's like, yeah, I am right now because you're making me a fish and I'm stuck in this like little pond. Like I can't do more than I can in this little pond unless if you let me. So I was like, okay. And then he turned into a little frog and he's like, see, like this is the power you have. You turned me into a frog, which is really cool. And then it was the bell rang, so it's time to go. So I said thank you, and then I came back. Yeah.
Wow. You've never done this before?
No.
Oh, that was an amazing first journey then.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll be able to do this over and over again. And your frog will turn into something else. I'm sure of it. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. That was amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Amelie, that's so cool. What I'm curious, what did you perceive your journey guide to look like or be?
It wasn't clear. I think it was fairly like she definitely had like a human hand because I like held it while she brought me to the pond, but she wasn't like concrete.
Oh, that's cool. It's okay. That's awesome. What a beautiful journey. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Well, this concludes our shamanic journey session with the sharing, and this particular sharing, as you've talked, each one of you have talked. This is what you would write down in your notes when you're at home doing this on your own. So you could do this at work on your break time. You could do this at your lunchtime. You could do this anytime, as long as you have a way to hook into your YouTube channel for Michael Harner. You can do this anywhere. So we just did a 15-minute, and I did notice at the end he does change the drumming so that you'll know when to stop and then thank your guides and come back. So perfect. You have the setup. This will also be put into the Facebook group as a link to a YouTube to where I put it on YouTube. So you'll have this available later. Just come back and journey some more.
Yay. Thank you, Pearl.
I have a quick question. So as we do these journeys, are we bringing back parts of ourselves too? Do we have to have our processing and integrating guides working on that? Or is that a different type of shamanic journey? Because I've done.
I can't say that you wouldn't bring back parts, because your guides may take you to something that's an experience for you to receive back some of your parts. So it's your intuition that allows you to pick up on, oh, I feel like stuff's coming back to me. Or no, I just need answers to questions, and here's my questions to my guides, and here's I'm getting my answers. So it could be a combination.
So should you just ask until you really understand more about the process? Just ask integration and processing guides to do whatever is needed.
Yes, they'll do whatever is needed, and the processing could be within the journey or it could be afterwards.
Okay.
So if you're integrating more parts that have come back after the journey's over is when they're going to go to work.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Yay. Thank you so much, Pearl. This is awesome. That's a great question, Lisa. I basically use every opportunity possible to integrate parts of me. So it's like, if I'm there and I'm doing stuff, I'm like, well, let's just come on home if there's anything, and I trust my highest of selves to handle it. My integrator and processor, they know what to do. And so I trust that it's happening for me for my highest and best good always. So I can be intentional about it, or I can have it happening automatically. Everything I do is for healing and integration, so I can be a more complete, whole, and healed human. So we're all here doing the work. It's happening for us all.
So what I've noticed is through this process.
Very well done, everyone.
What I've noticed through this process is, as I'm, if I feel off during the day or not, I always ask now my integration and processing guides to work on me, and I seem to feel better afterwards. So I've noticed.
Very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're growing your bandwidth for processing. Yeah. And so it's like right now you're having to think about it, right? And then it's kind of new, and it's like with training wheels on your bike, and you're a diligent and committed and devoted to your personal growth and healing. So it's going to get easier and easier, and then pretty soon you won't even be thinking about it. It's just who you be.
Okay.
I love it. Yeah, you're doing it. You're being it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And
yay.
Mwah.
Good afternoon and good night, everyone. Love you.